place where the whole family could be taken care of.
As far as technology goes, there is nobody more advanced than Tupelo Smiles.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. It has been a beautiful Friday all across North Mississippi, and thankfully that's continuing into this evening as well. We have our Friday night football game of the week, so let's just get started with this broadcast. We are seeing warm football weather ahead. Football weather and warm I don't think matches, but definitely a contrast in what that weather was at the start of the work week. Going to be beautiful as we continue into the evening hours ahead. But also, as we continue, we're staying dry into the weekend ahead as well. Those rain chances not really coming up until the latter parts of the work week. How long will those dry conditions stick around? That's what we're going to be talking about on the back half of this forecast as well. But until we get there, we have our chief meteorologist out live in Faulkner right now, looking like he's already enjoying the field as we speak.
Yeah, of course, we are excited for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week here in Faulkner, Okolona. The Chieftains back there behind me, as you can see, getting ready on this big playoff matchup. And, of course, the folks here, the Eagles from Faulkner, getting ready as well as we prepare for what is going to be a big matchup tonight. You know, these two teams met earlier on this season, and in that game, Okolona won pretty handily. But, of course, that was much, much earlier in the season, and things have a tendency of changing as we go on. So it is going to be interesting to see how tonight's game ends up playing out. Speaking of tonight's game, as I go and pan my little camera there, you can see we're coming in 65 degrees. They can feel it coming in the air tonight. I forget, though, that with the noise canceling, you probably can't hear at Phil Collins Classic coming on here behind the scenes. We're in the mid-60s right now. Tupelo as well, about 63 degrees in Amory, 61 at this instant there in Starkville, 67 degrees Kosciuszko, and 70 still in Belzona. So it is a beautiful night as far as football is concerned. Our Mississippi Live Game of the Week always has been presented all season long by KC Lott and the good folks up there at Langston Lott. We appreciate them for partnering with us here on Mississippi Live Weather. That pregame temperature, as you can see, coming in around 67, as we talked about a moment ago there. We're about 58 by halftime and 55 by the conclusion of this game this evening. Our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, you can see beside me here doing all the stuff that Gabe has done. He's, you know, bested some youths once again in his shorts. He did get stripped earlier on, and I took that for a long game. Got to watch your blind side. Hold on, I gotta take these out. I forget I guess everyone will get in there at night. Give me a second for that to here, and of course we'll have the rest of your coming up here in just a second. But Gabe, obviously everyone's excited about the game tonight here. And there's only 2 years left Faulkner football, and they're hoping this one ends in a big playoff win tonight.
Yeah, they won a title early on in 1983, now 2025.
That wasn't early on. They've been around since the 30s, but I know for you.
For me, yeah. For
ancient history for...
Based off of my perspective. But 2025, a great year to cap it off with a victory, cherry on top, and they're wanting the state title to kind of wrap things in black and gold, right?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So we will see. The Chieftains want to stand in the way of that. We'll have a complete look again here at everything related to this game coming up in a couple minutes. But Caleb, we've been waiting for this moment all week long, Friday night, and we're looking toward a weekend forecast that's pretty nice, right?
Oh yeah, it'll be beautiful pretty much all evening long. We can already see that on the first 12. Pretty much clear skies throughout the rest of the evening. We're starting off with temperatures around 62 degrees, slowly working our way towards the mid-50s. That cloud cover not really going to bother any high school game forecast because this is happening later on in the early AM hours. No football games should be going on that late. If so, definitely got to be a new record with those overtimes. But taking a look at our Mississippi Live weather radar, we are seeing these clear conditions all across North Mississippi. Nothing to analyze here. No green, reds, orange, yellows, any colors that we want to see here. They are not popping up, and that is a good thing as we continue into the Friday evening hours we have ahead. But what's responsible for this, as we kind of look at the surface analysis, is this high pressure system out there in Georgia. That's bringing all that clockwise rotation, pretty much keeping us calm as we continue into the evening hours, but also into the overnight hours ahead. That cloud cover going to start pushing in from the north, but until then, we get to enjoy these beautiful conditions pretty much all evening long. So let's try to visualize that right here on Futurecast. We can still see these clear, calm conditions, that southerly motion bringing in all that wind from the south. But as we continue into the evening ahead, we're going to still see these clear conditions continue on even by 10:30 as we're wrapping up all those football games across North Mississippi. Our broadcast later tonight still talking about those clear conditions above our heads. It's not until post midnight in those early AM hours we can already start to see that cloud cover starting to move across into North Mississippi, pretty much blanketing us as we get ready for our Saturday. Could be waking up to some partly cloudy skies all across North Mississippi, but still a beautiful forecast as we get ready for the weekend ahead. The next 24 pretty much showing that right here. 53 degrees as we start off our day with those partly cloudy conditions. Those are going to stay pretty consistent as we continue warming up. Going to see mid to upper 70s for our highs tomorrow. It's not until the evening hours, by the time we get towards that 6 o'clock broadcast time, where we're going to start to see a clearing in that cloud cover, especially during the 10 o'clock broadcast as well, cooling on off towards the upper 60s, eventually low 60s. During that 10 o'clock broadcast time later on for your Saturday. But still, beautiful conditions, not only for your Saturday, but also into your Sunday. But we were talking about those rain chances earlier. How long do these dry conditions last? When can we start seeing those rain chances come back to North Mississippi? We're going to be covering all of that coming up in 1 minute.
This roof's getting installed with our premium roofing system. Backed by our 50-year warranty. And there's a 0% financing, no payment for 6 months options that this customer utilized. If you're looking for a new roof and you need an affordable option, call Absolute Restoration.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 6, taking a live look at our high school game of the week. We're seeing temperatures around 67 degrees by pregame, so feeling amazing outdoors. But as we continue into the evening, those clear skies going to continue as well as the temperature continues to drop. Halftime around 58 degrees, but still sticking around the mid-50s by the time we are wrapping up the game. We have our chief meteorologist, Matt Laubon, and meteorologist Gabe Maynor enjoying those beautiful conditions right now.
We are, and maybe just as importantly, smelling the good food here. That's one of the things I'm going to miss once we get out of playoff time here and we get going, is these wonderful hamburgers. I mean, you can even see, look at that. I think I see some smoke up there. From that carrying over the field. Look at that. Look at that. That's a cool shot. That's how you know it's char grilled goodness. And just one of the many things we look forward to at these Mississippi Live games of the week. Again, I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, here once again, who's going to pretend like he's not an athlete for a second. And oh, gosh. Okay.
Get the catch, too.
Okay, let's get the catch. He swears that there's a catch at the end of this. We'll see.
See, they batted it down.
Well, because did you see it wasn't exactly a tight spiral?
Listen, I'm not in the NFL for a reason.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Okay, but he's played us tonight, into what's going to be a great game. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, so the whole time, 2-9 with Okolona being in the favor of the Chieftains, but they've already met this year. Of course, making it 2-9, originally 2-8. Okolona taking the victory earlier on the season, 55-47. But it doesn't matter when it's playoffs. Magic happened. Both teams 1-0, and that's the record that matters heading into tonight. And both of them looking to make it 2 wins in a row before they go home this season. But a matchup, big-time matchup, though. Music starting, it's going to be a good time for sure.
So, we're in the second round of playoffs right now.
Yes.
So next week we have another round, then we're North Half.
North Half and then state championship.
So we're looking 3 more wins plus tonight. So that 4 wins with that state championship.
4 wins and you go home with the gold, and that's what matters. That's what everyone is out here waiting for. are wanting to do. And you talked earlier, Faulkner, 2 more years left to come home with the state title, and they're looking to do so now, this year, 2025, take home that trophy and make it 2 state titles up there on those borders.
Absolutely. So again, we're excited here on Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott. Again, appreciate those folks at Langston Lott for sponsoring us here on Mississippi Live. Caleb, we sent it back to you in the studio. Again, it's going to be a beautiful evening here. I think the weekend likely looking pretty nice as well, right?
Well, that's exactly right. Temperatures right now, 65 degrees out here in Tupelo, so not necessarily Faulkner. We just saw on the high school forecast that was around 67 degrees, but we are feeling amazing outdoors. Feels like values, matching up perfectly with that temperature, not feeling muggy or humid outdoors either. We are that dry as we continue into the evening ahead. Perfect football weather. But take a look at Futurecast. That southerly motion, that's pretty much the only story and really much we can look at here on Futurecast. Not much cloud cover, seeing mostly clear conditions all across North Mississippi. That trend is thankfully going to continue into the rest of our evening hours. All these high school football games all across North Mississippi, you are seeing beautiful conditions all game long, and even by the time you are walking back to your car, hopefully with the win, especially since these wins are more precious during these playoff times. You are going to enjoy them with beautiful conditions. It's not until we make it into these overnight hours, into the AM hours, we start to see that cloud cover start kind of pushing across North Mississippi, blanketing us as we get ready for our Saturday morning. Going to wake up to pretty mostly cloudy skies as we wake up, especially for those waking up around 6 o'clock in the morning. Definitely going to see cloudier skies. These clouds will try to break up as you continue into the morning hours, but still going to see those cloudy conditions. Low temperatures for your Saturday already in the mid 50s, so definitely above average for this time of year, and quite a different story than what we saw for our Monday and Tuesday earlier this week. Gotta love that Mississippi weather, but still a great start to our day, but above average still as we continue into tomorrow. Futurecast not really picking up on that cloud cover right now. I'm going to have to fix that as we continue into your Saturday, but still the main story is seeing dry conditions pretty much all throughout the rest of your weekend, especially during your Saturday and into your Sunday as well. Those rain chances not really going to start getting picked up any until maybe Monday, maybe into your Tuesday as well. This model not really picking up on anything. I'll have to fix that before the 10 o'clock broadcast time, but thankfully we're not really tracking anything as we continue into the weekend. It's until the work week, but latter half of the work week where we really start to talk about those rain chances ramping on up. But high temperatures for your Saturday, we are seeing mid to upper 70s all across North Mississippi. I say mid just because you have your bunch of 75s in Hamilton, Red Bay, Iuka, Corinth, and Boonville coming in at 76. But for everyone else, you're pretty much in the upper 70s, almost low 80s. Thankfully, those heat indices not really pushing us up into the low 80s. We are not going to feel humid or muggy outdoors. We're just going to feel as nice as those temperatures are reading outdoors as you go about your Saturday. But let's take a look at those SEC football forecasts presented by Carl Hogan Toyota. We have the Sooners taking on Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Definitely going to be a great matchup. I know my dynamics professor will be rooting hard for his Sooners. You can see temperatures around 78 degrees by the first play, but as you continue into the rest of the game, seeing mid 70s by halftime, temperature around 67 by the final snap. Going to be beautiful, clear skies pretty much almost all game long out there in Tuscaloosa. Now let's go towards Missouri. The Bulldogs facing the Missouri Tigers, seeing temperatures around 66 degrees, cooling on off towards the upper 50s by the final snap. Going to be a later on game, going to be a hopefully good game for the Bulldogs, but definitely going to be a good SEC matchup for our Saturday evening. But also got to take one more stop out here in Oxford. The Florida Gators coming all the way to Oxford to face the Rebels. Temperatures around 70 degrees by the first play, seeing temperatures in the low 60s by its final snap. I can give you the weather forecast, but our Will Kohlmeyer will give you pretty much the latest details and information that you need for all of those football forecasts coming up at the end of this broadcast. But coming back to Futurecast, showing these clear conditions, like I said, not much to track out during your Saturday. Still seeing that southerly motion just push all across North Mississippi, seeing clearer conditions on the back half of your Saturday. But there's that cold front kind of making its way towards North Mississippi. That's going to bring some cloud cover and maybe some spotty chances of sprinkles or rain as you continue into the overnight hours into your Sunday. But still, this cold front isn't going to be anything as compared to a cold front we'll experience and witness later on into the work week. This is pretty much just allowing us to stay relatively cool and not really warm on up as we continue into the weekend ahead. Not even really going to cool us down as much, just kind of bring in some cloud cover, clearing that on out as well, and that wind direction changing from southerly to northerly, and that's what's going to allow us to continue to stay dry into your Sunday. but pretty much for the back half of the weekend, allowing us to experience these dry conditions and yet a beautiful condition here in North Mississippi. Still seeing that cloud cover try to linger across North Mississippi, but we're still seeing mostly clear conditions into the start of your Monday as well. That cold front allowing us to stay dry into your Sunday as well. But high temperatures are going to be in the mid 70s, noticeably a little bit cooler, especially the further north you go. You can see almost upper 60s, 70 in South Haven, 71 Boonville, Corinth, Iuka, Red Bay. But then also the further south you go, the warmer we are as well. 79 down there in Macon, Columbus, 78 in Starkville, 78 in Louisville, Eupora, and Kosciuszko as well. So still quite across the board, but pretty much all of us in the 70s. It's just whether or not you're in the lower or upper 70s. You can tell right here, especially with those heat and seas. Thankfully, still not pushing us into the low 80s. Not going to feel warm and humid as we continue into our Sunday. Definitely that summertime mugginess, it is gone as we are pushing further into fall and closer towards that winter season. I know we felt it at the start of this work week here in North Mississippi, but the 7-day forecast, this is going to be an important thing that we're going to continue to monitor all weekend long, and that's going to be those rain chances. Not seeing much for your Saturday and Sunday, staying relatively dry and still feeling amazing outdoors. We'll have 20% for your Monday and Tuesday, kind of lingering, offering a chance for maybe some showers and sprinkles to affect us as we have a stationary front just lingering over North Mississippi. But those real rain chances, those are going to ramp up for your Thursday and Friday, and those are going to be chances that we're going to continue to pretty much update and monitor as we continue into the weekend, but especially into the coming work week here in North Mississippi. Right now, currently 40% for your Thursday, 60% for your Friday. So a little bit more confident that this could occur on your Friday, but as you can tell, kind of more of an overnight, early morning event for your Friday. So something that we're going to continue monitoring, that cold front kind of bringing in that cooler air, but also some storms with it as well. This is a frontal system that is all the way out towards the Pacific right now, the opposite side of the country. So it is still a far ways away from here in North Mississippi, but that data and all those models still continuing to update as we get further and further into the weekend, and especially the work week ahead. But we're going to continue tracking that out with you all weekend long here at Mississippi Live Weather. But don't go anywhere. We have our Will Kohlmeyer going to give us the latest on those SEC games, and also I'll give you those forecasts yet again, presented by Carl Hogan Toyota. All that coming up in 1 minute.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome to The Rock here at Southern Miss. Southern Miss football, they have turned the corner big time, and they've got a huge matchup here tomorrow afternoon. It is quiet. It is an empty stadium, but it will be on fire tomorrow afternoon against Texas State. We'll talk more about that matchup and what has happened this year with Southern Miss football. It is definitely on the up. But first of all, we got to start our Will's Winners. And by the way, it's 6 o'clock on a Friday, so you know it's Kohlmeyer's Corner with Will's Winners. Last week, 3 for 3 in the win column, so 26-3 on the year coming into this weekend. And we will begin at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon with that massive matchup between number 11 Oklahoma and number 4 Alabama. The Crimson Tide coming in 8-1, the Sooners 7-2. And remember what happened last year. Oklahoma hurt Alabama's feelings. In fact, knocked Bama out of the playoff race. So the big question, can Alabama do the same thing tomorrow and this year against the Sooners? Oklahoma leads the all-time series. They've only played 7 times. Oklahoma has won 4 of them, lost 2, and they tied 1 time. And the Tide have never beaten the Sooners during the regular season. That is until tomorrow. I'm going with Bama in this one at home. Then it's this matchup I was talking about. here at Southern Miss, also a 2:30 kick, and it's Texas State at 3-6. Kind of disappointing. They were the team predicted to win the Sun Belt Conference Western Division, but they have struggled, and it's been just the opposite for Southern Miss. Jeremy McLean, their AD, a Holka native, Chickasaw County guy, he made a home run hire in bringing in Charles Huff. Last year's team 1-11, and that one win wasn't even against an FBS school. This year, they are 7-2. They are undefeated in the Sun Belt Conference, and if they can knock off Texas State tomorrow and then South Alabama next week, they will wrap up a spot in the Sun Belt Conference championship game. And one of the reasons why this success is Southern Miss's defense. They lead the country in interceptions, and with that obviously has helped the turnover margin, and they are number 1 in turnover margin in the country. And I don't care what head coach you talk to, it doesn't matter. High school, college, professional, it's all about turnover margin. You got to win the turnover margin, and they lead the country in that stat, and which is remarkable because last year they were one of the worst teams in the country when it comes to turnover margin, and Southern Miss will continue their winning ways and stay undefeated with a win tomorrow in Sun Belt Conference play. And then we'll head to Oxford, Florida. Talk about hurting someone's feelings. The Gators messed things up big time for Lane Kiffin and company a year ago down in Gainesville. Ole Miss is locked and loaded and ready for this one. And how about the season Trinidad Chambliss has had at quarterback for Ole Miss? Did some research this week. He ranks 3rd in the SEC in both yards per completion, yards per attempt, and ranks 3rd among SEC quarterbacks in rushing yards, right at 450 yards on the ground. He also owns 4 games with 300 yards passing and 50 yards rushing. That's tied for the second most ever by an SEC quarterback. You know who is the only quarterback that's ever done it more than 4 times? Jaden Daniels. A couple years ago, he won the Heisman Trophy for LSU in 2023, and Trinidad Chambliss might be able even to turn that trick tomorrow with a big passing game and also on the ground. And by the way, Chambliss is the first SEC quarterback that we know since at least 1994 to have 3 of those games in a row with 300 yards passing and 50 yards on the ground. I'm going with Ole Miss at home as they inch closer and closer to a playoff spot in this year's college football playoff. And then there's Mississippi State. The Bulldogs need a win tomorrow night in Columbia, Missouri to become bowl eligible. What a story that would be if they can do it. One of the keys, though, that offensive line and actually the defensive line as well. If they both play better, I think State has a chance to pull off the upset. But if not, I don't care who's at quarterback, Chapin, Taylor, they're going to be running for their life if they cannot protect the quarterback. That will be a key. Watch out for that one tomorrow night on the SEC Network. Also, another concern, that dog defense. They've had some issues stopping the run, right? And that has also hurt them trying to get off the field on 3rd down. And it's not going to be easy against Missouri. They can run the ball. In fact, they've got a guy by the name of Ahmad Hardy who has had a terrific season, and he's actually a Mississippi native. He's from just down the road here in Hattiesburg, and I'm going to go with Missouri. I'd like to pick the Bulldogs in an upset. I've done quite a few of picking Mississippi State. In fact, 2 of my 3 losses this year are Mississippi State upset predictions. They have come through a couple times on the upset for me, but I'm going to go with Missouri tomorrow night against Mississippi State. So that's the story here down in Hattiesburg. Big game. There is a buzz on this campus. No doubt about that. They are fired up that this Southern Miss football program has turned it around under first-year head coach Charles Huff. But that's the story down here in the Pine Belt. Caleb, I'll send it back to you up in the studios in Tupelo.
I think it's extremely valid why you didn't take the Bulldogs. I'd love to see them pull off the upset. They just haven't quite done it. They've gotten close several times this season. But let's take a look at your SEC football forecast. Like I mentioned earlier, a huge game. The Crimson Tide hosting the Sooners. I am hoping the Sooners can win this just for my dynamics professor's sake. I know he'll be in a good mood this week, and that is what we need as we get closer and closer towards final exam season. But first place, 78 degrees, seeing mostly clear skies. As we continue into the rest of the game, we're going to continue cooling off. Mid-70s by halftime, seeing those clear skies. Those clear skies stay consistent, seeing temperatures around 67 degrees by the final snap. Should be a beautiful game out there in Tuscaloosa this weekend. And here we go, my Bulldogs taking on the Missouri Tigers out there in Columbia. 66 degrees by the first play. cooling on off, seeing upper 50s by the final snap, clear skies all evening long. Going to be a great game out there. So love to see the Bulldogs play well. Hopefully we can get that another win in our SEC football forecast here for North Mississippi. And of course, the Ole Miss Rebels hosting the Florida Gators should be another good matchup. 70 degrees by the first play, cooling on off, seeing low 60s by the final snap, seeing pretty much clear, if not mostly clear conditions for the remainder of that game. Pretty much great football games all across North Mississippi, SEC, all across our region this weekend. But I appreciate all of y'all tuning into yet another Mississippi Live weather broadcast, especially during our 6 o'clock hour. Here's the iOS and Android QR codes. We appreciate all the support you've given us, especially for our app. We want to know when something's not going well. When something's going well and you want to see some improvements, let us know, because we want to make sure that app is at the top-notch performance for all of y'all, especially as we get closer towards severe weather season and some storms approaching North Mississippi. Want to make sure that is a well-oiled machine as we get closer and closer. But our broadcast schedule, we will have the 10 o'clock later on tonight to give you your Game of the Week highlights, but also we will be revealing your band and cheer squad of the week. You have about another 2 to 3 minutes to try to get in your last second votes. I'm going to go count them off as I wrap up this broadcast, tally them all up, let Gabe and Matt know so they can record your band and cheer squad of the week. We're very good at talking, and we're already at that 26-hour mark, or 26-minute mark, excuse me. But go out, enjoy the rest of y'all's Friday evening. I cannot wait to be back up here during the 10 o'clock to give you the very latest and to show you all the Game of the Week highlights coming up. We'll be live later on tonight at 10, and I'll see y'all then.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-tirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.